focus switches to the international scene right here, right now, as we look forward to this year's Gold Cup. We already know 9 nations that will take part in this summer's spectacular, but there's 14 other nations that are still yet to decide if they're in or out. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you next. That's right, folks, but once again with another video today. It's all about the 2025 Gold Cup. That's right. Today, we're going to take a look at the qualification phase, as 14 nations will now be whittled down to just 7. What am I talking about? Well, I'll show you in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and your sub shop for Gold Cup, Babin Rovers, World Football. We're going to all hear under one rooski. That's right. This summer will be probably the final major dress rehearsal for international countries as we look forward to the World Cup. But of course, it is the Gold Cup, that's right, the CONCACAF's finest tournament taking place this coming summer, that's right. We've got 9 nations already there, we'll showcase you those in a second, but 14 other nations still need to be whittled down to just 7 to make up a combined 16, that's right. Who am I talking about? Well, I'll show you in a minute. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons, that's right. So, let's jump in and look forward to this coming up qualification phase. See who will go through, see who will go home. That's right, folks, here we go then. Looking forward to this year's Gold Cup. Before all that, we're going to look forward to the qualification phase. 14 nations to become just 7. Already in the tournament are these guys. That's right, 9 nations already there. 8 from CONCACAF and 1 guest nation. That's right, Canada, Curacao, we've got Dominican Republic. We do have, who are these bad boys? These are, testing my flag, El Salvador here, Haiti, Mexico, Panama, Saudi Arabia, goodness gracious me, and the United States, who are, of course, hosts or co-hosts for this year's tournament. Of the 14 nations coming into this qualification phase, they are these. That's right. Now we are definitely testing my knowledge. Coming at you in no particular order. There we go. Get going there. Belize, Bermuda. We have Costa Rica, Cuba are here. Guadeloupe, Guatemala, Guyana, Honduras, Jamaica, Martinique, Nicaragua, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago, man. So those are the 14 nations entering this qualification phase. And now we look forward to those matches. Now, we do have 7 matches. Now, what's going to happen here? They are 2-legged affairs. We're going to have this first leg, and I'll come back for the second legs, of course, very, very soon. So sit tight, hold on. We're going to jump in the deep end and explore these games. That's right, 7 games coming at you this week. And then, of course, we'll have the return legs. Now, these matches will take place on the 21st of March. So get up, get set, get ready for these bad boys. We're going to start with, all right, folks, we're going to kick it all off with the top of the shop there. It's Cuba, it's Trinidad and Tobago, and it's going to take place on the 21st of March. This match taking place at the Estadio Antonio Macho over in Santiago, aka Cuba. Cuba coming into this, where are they? They're finishing, I don't know where they finished, but they're coming into this on 42% form. Not great form, just 1 win out of the last 6 matches. Trinidad on the flip side, also coming into this on the back of just 1 win in the last 6, both sides on 42% form. They have played each other 8 times since 2008. Just 1 win for Cuba, 5 wins for Trinidad. There's been 2 draws between the 2 sides. Last time around, over at Cuba, let me look at this. When was it? I think it was way back in October 2024. It was a 2-2 draw. Goodness gracious me, that was in the CONCACAF Nations League Group B. Meanwhile, coming into this, Cuba on the back of a 4-0 win over St. Kitts and Nevis. That's back in November 2024. As for Trinidad and Tobago, they're coming into this on the back of a 1-1 draw against Jamaica. Jamaica made crazy, of course. Again, got no odds. Going to have no odds for these ones because I'm recording these a little bit earlier than anticipated. But it's going to be a tough old game, and again, 2-legged affair. So, of course, if you lose the first game, don't worry. There is still the prospect of a second leg, or of course, coming back into the second leg. I'm going to go with on this one. I'm going to go with the 1-1 draw, just because I'm not too sure about Cuba. I think they could surprise us all a little bit here, but both nations coming into this on pretty bad form. Next up, we go Suriname, and they're taking on Martinique, coming to the Dr. Franken Stadion over in Paramaribo. That's right, Suriname, of course, with a bit of a Dutch contingent coming at you up against Martinique, a bit of a Frenchy contingent here over in the Caribbean islands. That's right. This match again taking place on the 21st of March, of course. Suriname on the back of back-to-back defeats for them coming into this. 42% form for them right now, just 1 win in the last 5. Up against Martinique on 50% form, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They've drawn 4 of that last 5, and they have taken on Suriname 3 times since 2012. There's been 3 draws, goodness gracious me, including the last time they played in Suriname, which was, I believe, back in March 2024. It was a 1-1 draw. The previous 2 were also draws, but they were over in Martinique. Martinique on the back of that 0-0 draw against Guadeloupe. That was back in October 2024 in the Nations League. Suriname on the back of a 3-0 loss in the Nations League quarterfinals, goodness gracious, to Canada. They could have made it all the way through, goodness gracious, to the semis. They actually lost back-to-back to Canada, back-to-back games without a goal for Suriname. Again, no bookies odds on this one. What are we thinking about this? We are thinking about Suriname surely to win this game, especially the first leg. 2-0 winners over in Suriname to give them the upper hand. All right, folks, next up it is Vincent Grenadines up against Jamaica, coming at you 23rd or 21st of March as well. This match taking place at the Amos Vale Stadium over in Kingstown, baby. Vincent Grenadines on the back of just 1 defeat in the last 6. They've actually won 3 on the spin up against Jamaica, though. Of course, Steve McLaren's boys, 50% form for them right now. 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 2 over the last 6 matches. Never played each other according to my data. I'm not sure how accurate that is. St. Vincent Grenadines on the back of that 3-1 win over Benin back in November 2024. Jamaica on the back of a draw against Caribbean local rivals, you would imagine. Trinidad and Tobago 1-1 way back in Feb. It was actually back on the 9th of Feb 2025, of course. Jamaica were the hot shots for this one. I'm expecting big things from these guys because they realistically should be in the Gold Cup. But yeah, I think I'll give them the upper hand in this first leg over in Kingstown with a 2-0 win in my eyes. Next up, we go to Bermuda, National Stadium over in Devonshire. That's right, Bermuda. Of course, 67% form for them right now, winning 4 of the last 5. They're coming into this on the back of a defeat up against another heavyweight. That is Honduras. They're coming into this also on the back of a defeat, but 58% form for them over the last 6. They've lost us twice in the last 6, but yeah, most recently a defeat for them. They did play Bermuda most recently back in 2024. That was in June 2024's World Cup qualification. They won quite comfortably 6-1. Goodness gracious me! The defeat for Honduras was the CONCACAF Nations League Gold Cup. Nations League quarterfinal. It was a 4-0 loss to Mexico. That was a 2-legged affair after beating Mexico in the first leg. Meanwhile, Bermuda on the back of another 6-1 loss, this time to Dominican Republic, which does mean that they're going to probably be battered here. It could be, unfortunately, a cricket score for Bermuda to take on the chin here. I'm going to go with Honduras. I'm just going with a 3-1 win. But again, just as first leg, which does make it for a very, very difficult second leg this time over in Honduras. Meanwhile, how about it's Guadeloupe then as they take on Nicaragua. This match taking place at the Star Roger Zami Stadium in Le Grosier. Guadeloupe coming into this on the back of an unbeaten run of 3 games, back-to-back wins for them up against Nicaragua on 75% form for them right now, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Of course, Nicaragua coming into this having played Guadeloupe just the once since 2009, but they lost that game. It was a 2-0 loss way back in July 2009. Again, not sure how accurate that is, but Guadeloupe on the back of successive wins. Of course, beating Cayman Islands 1-0 back in November. Before that, they actually beat the Cayman Islands once again, 6-0. In fact, they've gone 3 games without conceding a goal. Up against Nicaragua, who are on the back of a 3-2 win themselves over French Guyana, also way back in October 2024. Nicaragua, again, one of the powerhouses here, but again, not too sure about Guadeloupe. They seem to manage to pull off some results, but have they actually played anyone of any decent caliber in any the recent 5 or 6 matches? I don't think so. I think Nicaragua are in that sort of category of the next best things. We're talking Jamaica, Trinidad, Honduras even. So I'm going to go with a Nicaraguan victory here on the road. 2-0 winners over in Guadeloupe to again get the upper hand in the first leg. Next up, we hop over to Guyana. That's right, taking on Guatemala in the Battle of the G's. That's right, taking the place at the BFA Technical Centre in Bridgetown, baby. That's right, Guyana on the back of successive wins, back-to-back wins for them. Up against Guatemala on the back of 50% form for them right now. 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 2 over the last 6. They have played Guyana 3 times since 2010, winning all 3 of them, including a whopping 4-0 win. That 4-0 win was way back in July 2021. They've actually scored 10 goals in those 3 games combined against Guyana with an average of 3.33 goals a game. game. On the flip side, Guyana just scored the 1 goal in those 3 games, and they're coming into this on the back of that 3-1 loss back in October 2024. Guatemala coming out top on that one. They also on the back of a 3-0 loss, though. Guatemala losing to Costa Rica way back in October. That was their most recent match. Up against Guyana, though, who did pick up a victory against Barbados. In fact, they won back-to-back against Barbados, scoring 9 goals in the last 2 games combined. However, conceding 4. So not the greatest in the defensive ranks, but maybe have a bit of a say up top. Of course, first match is in Guyana, but again, Guatemala in that next bracket of teams, that bracket of nations. I do expect a victory here, 3-1 winners for Guatemala in the first leg to put them in the driving seat for the second leg when these two sides return. And then finally, folks, we have Belize taking on real hot shots Costa Rica. I can't believe they're actually in this phase. They should be already there in the competition, but they've got to duke it out here. They've got to earn the stripes, so to speak. Belize coming at you against Costa Rica on the 21st of March, taking place at the FFB Stadium in Belapan. Belize on the back of an unbeaten run of 92% form. Goodness gracious me, I don't know how far that stretches back, but it's at least they're unbeaten in at least 6. They won in 5 of that last 6. Up against Costa Rica, though, who haven't won in the last 3 matches. They're on 42% form for them, but they have beaten Belize 3 times in the last 20-odd years. Did I say 20 years? I mean 10 years, 12 years. So 3 wins on the spin, including a 3-0 win. That was their biggest and their most recent back in January 2017. They've actually scored 5 goals in those 3 games, picking up a 1.67 goals a game on average. Belize yet to score against Costa Rica, following on those 3 successive losses. Belize, though, on the back of a 2-2 draw against French Guyana. That was their last match. Prior to that, though, they were kicking ass and taking names. Just one. Prior to the last game, they'd only conceded 1 goal in the last 5 matches. On the flip side, Costa Rica on the back of that 3-0 loss to United States. That's back in January 2025. Prior to that, though, they had a couple of draws, a couple of matches against Panama. But again, yet to taste victory. The last victory for Costa Rica was a 3-0 win over Guatemala. No bookies odds for this one taking place in Belize, but it should be a massive scoreline. 4-0 winners. We could even hit double digits over the course of 2 legs. That's, of course, my predictions, guys, for these first legs in the CONCACAF Gold Cup Qualifiers. Of course, these 14 nations will be whittled down to just 7, and hopefully we should have that answer at the end of the second video. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. We are done for now.